Hey, this is a post for Barry. I'm going to share this with you on the ecology of systems thinking. However way people define it, I've still not seen a consistent way to define that term. Hey, Barry, as a systems thinker myself that incorporates more than just technology or the earth system sciences, but the foundation of it all, because it's about how we think and how we have to objectively see ourselves before we can objectively consider ourselves technology or earth system science systems thinkers, is the social sciences. And in the social sciences, I'm telling you, I'm noticing a lot that we just went over 8 billion population of our species, and most people, including the most brilliant supposedly, or the most evolved, or the most achieved, or the ones approaching the most the concept of, I think, Nietzsche's Superman, which is similar to humanism a little bit, to develop our full potential and keep going and expand it, is it seems that everybody that is supposedly the most admired for intelligence or understanding or getting the big picture seems to be missing the element of they are acting like they believe in the concept of a miracle child being born, solving all the problems of all the past generations, current generations, future generations of adults who don't undergo their own maturation process. So 8 billion people, and still we are not getting that miracle child to somehow give a free get out of jail card for adults to not grow up to be adults, right? They're adult children. So it's kind of sad. I admire you, Barry. I've said this before. I would like to have conversations with you to learn things that I know can come from the way you explain things and your specialties when it comes to the concept of systems and systems thinking, if you want, but more like explaining systems, how you understand them, the terminology. You've stated you cannot have conversations that long, that you have a hearing disability, and yet you also demonstrate being able to overcome this with conversations with others, such as Josh. That you seem to finish a lot of the conversations that are posted online on your colleague's website that you supposedly also claim to be very similar in thinking with. I don't think you guys are similar in thinking, but anyways, that's just me from an outside perspective. But the conversations that last a long time that you have with Josh are one-on-one. And I've asked you to have one-on-one conversations with me that we could record or not record so we can learn from each other. I want to learn from you, who I believe is the best person to have conversations that I've met through these groups in relation to systems, understanding, explaining, and also how the basis of the understanding of systems it can be transferred to technology or earth systems or our brains or thinking, all these things, and then again improve my own ability to understand and define my own concepts and theory and understanding of things. So I've wanted to do this with you for a long time. One of the conversations I'd like to have with you is something that happened to me this week is I'm noticing an artist, very skilled, painting on a wall in a new business. And I'm talking to him, and it doesn't take long to answer that he's a comic book artist and that he's working really hard to get the copyright done for all that. And he's showing me some of his artwork, and you could see that he's very frustrated with our species in his conversation, but also the general theme of his comic book themes. And then I kind of stopped folding my clothes at one point, and I go say, hey, what do the animals in your science fiction comic book strip call the humans that they won a war with? Call our species. And he says humans. And I said, I'm sorry, I might have to give you a little bit of criticism here. It seems to me that you want people to get a more objective look at our flaws. And you can tell his bitterness in life really reflects this when he interacts with people. And I said one of the ways is and I didn't want to go homo communia because, his comic book strip is, but I was going to give him permission to use that term that I've been using a lot. Although I'm not the first one to use it, but I am the first one to write it in the right way as a species, the right way to write it. And also, I've been the one using it and coining it the most on the internet. Homo communia has the name of our species. So instead, I told him, because I believe his stories are already very much written, is just switch it to people primates, and with that we will fight off some of our human chauvinism that makes us think we're really great just because we're great at one or two things, and that's not even everybody that's really great at something, but the ones that are is one or two things. So very far from being a systems thinker, or let's call it even a systems actor, as if they behave as if they understand the consequences of their actions within these systems they claim to understand, and whether they are a disruptive force or a stabilizing or even an evolving to something better kind of force, such as a global culture repair would be, that understands enough to be able to do that. But you need to get a big picture of many types of systems to be able to do that, including the earth system sciences and the social sciences. So, he became a bit defensive because he didn't have a good variety of skill sets and intelligence. And he actually, kind of wanted to end the conversation. But he also was saying, hey, it's for kids. And, no, it's for kids. And you could tell that he really wants to make money with this thing. It's not related to culture repair, which again scares me, Barry, because if we add artistry, and the artists don't do their personal development work, don't look at themselves in the mirror, have no clue that they're missing so many life skills to be able to be productive members of crashing proto-societies, so that they can maybe swim a little bit against the flow of the crash instead of facilitating it with their art and their bitterness, without doing it in a way that is more strategic, because they're just very angry. I seem very angry with things, but I tell you, I work on strategies a lot, and our conversations would pop that up. You just have to find out what it is that has made you hesitate and has made you judge documents I've given you in unfair ways that lack total objectivity, in a way that you wouldn't do with somebody else who would have given you the same document under their name, if that test had been done. So there's a judgment from you to me that makes it that if I send you something to read, your response to it is, it's elementary school level, while you sent me something to read and I read it, and I want to discuss it with you, and you don't want to, and I don't know if it means that I will demonstrate that I understood, and I want to expand the ideas with you, and I think they're great. You have to figure this out, Barry, but out of all the people I've met in the group, I believe I can learn the most from you for a specific theme. If you're open to learn from me in any theme that you might choose, that you're open to find out is something that is worth learning about, then I think we'd be in business at starting a one-on-one type of video, which you often have with the last two or people in the vlogs that you've been mostly in charge of, that you post online, that happen on Saturdays and Sundays. So it's up to you, Barry. The ball is in your court. I mean, we can keep adding letters to give ourselves false hope, to STEM and STEAM, and eventually it'll have like 160 letters, and really it'll amount to nothing, because it'll all be people talking the talk and not walking the walk. But even if they walk the talk, if that's what I said before, not walking the walk, but walking the talk, I believe that's the right expression. And a lot of people don't look it up and they just say it a certain way, but I believe the right way is talking the talk or walking the talk. You can correct me. Man, this is it. You can jump on this and correct me if I'm wrong, but I hope you don't stop there. We can have more conversations and we can correct each other as we learn from each other as well, with the right kind of relationship, and I can help with that developing. You just have to open up, do a little bit more with me that you can do with others, without using the excuse with others that you're limited in your conversation skills through disabilities. So let's push through some ceilings here, Barry. You are a unique person who's got insight that is very rare, and I would like to work with you so we can give it a little bit more to the world in a way that relates to modern times, and not just the little bit that might happen with the minimal people we interact with. So it's up to you. You've got the challenge. Who does Barry want to be?